Welcome to another episode of Comedy Wham Presents. With me, your host Valerie, and sometime kitty co-hosts Miss Purrington and Mookie are back at home. We're recording from Fallout Theater Podcast Studio. Thank you, Fallout. ComedyWham.com is your place to go for features about all Austin comedy. In addition to podcasts, Comedy Wham brings you articles, album reviews, show reviews, our advice column, our listing of festivals from across the country and the world, our FPIA contest page, and my articles for the Austin Chronicle, the BarbedWire.com, and the San Antonio Current about the Austin and Central Texas comedy scenes. Our most popular feature is our events page for live comedy shows in Austin, Houston, and DFW, where 100% of the entries you see come from comics and producers. Click the Submit a Show button from the top of the homepage or events page to fill out the survey to get your show listed. It's free and easy. Tag us on your Instagram stories and we'll share your show promo to our followers. We also offer paid promo pushes on Instagram. Speaking of events, come check out our new passion project show, Improv Vintage. You bring an item and come watch it come to life in a fully improvised performance. So we turn your vintage items into comedy gold. We're here at Fallout Theater on first Wednesdays of every month. Want to support these resources we provide? You can donate to Comedy Wham on Venmo or Patreon. Click the Support CW icon on our homepage to see the ways that you can help us. Our podcast was launched in 2016 to bring you funny people and their stories. As a fan, I like to delve into a comic's background and motivations, and will usually take a detour along the way. Consider the interview a way for you to get to know the folks that make the Austin comedy scene one of the best in the country. If you like this podcast, please rate and review us. Today, we are talking to somebody who is making his debut on the Moontower Comedy Festival, and this is one of our episodes in the 2026 Moontower Comedy Festival series. This episode is actually launching and coming out on the first of the weekends, with kicking off with all the headliner shows for Moontower. I got to see him for the first time at the rare comeback Sure Thing shows. He brought a plate full of cookies. It was amazing. Supposedly one of them was spiked. I did not get the spiked one. And his special Flex Your Head is out now, and it is fantastic. You should check it out before you see him at Moontower. And now Comedy Wham presents our guest, Fast Ronald.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you.
We finally got this scheduled.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I'm the one who's appreciative. When the Moontower Festival listing comes out, I'm always looking at the locals and I'm like, who have I not talked to? Who do I not even know? And I think I wouldn't know you if I hadn't seen you at that Sure Thing show. So it was pretty cool to get to see you in that small venue.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
But I sense that you do big venues a lot.
Starting to.
Yeah.
Yeah, just now starting to.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I love this room. This is one of the first rooms I did when I moved back to Texas from LA. This is one of the first shows that gave me stage time. Wow. So I always have a lot of fun in this place. So that was nice. A great show. I'm glad that they did it. Mm-hmm. It was very fun.
Yeah. Okay. So I was telling you beforehand that my boyfriend and I were like, well, how do I address him? So when I am just casually, do I say Fast Ronald or do I?
Yeah, Fast Ronald's fine.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So I can't. There's no abbreviation to that. It's just you are Fast. Okay, all right, Fast Ronald. I always start these off with one opening question.
Okay,
and that is one word to describe your past.
This is a lot harder than it seems. I would say layered.
I like that. That may be a new word for the list. You are episode 383.
Ooh, 383.
So there's been a lot of first words. I don't think anyone has ever chosen layered.
I would say layered is the best description.
What makes you choose that word?
I've lived a lot of different lives in the short amount of time I've been here. So I feel like every life is a little bit of a layer that that is the person I am today.
Yeah. You mentioned a moment ago that you came back to Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So were you born and raised in Texas?
I was born and raised in San Antonio.
Okay.
And I moved here when I was 18.
Okay.
Go to culinary school. I lived here for a few years. Then I went to LA for about a decade.
Okay.
And then when COVID happened, I came back to San Antonio. When everything started opening up again, instead of going back to LA, I just came to Austin.
Okay.
Austin scene had kind of exploded bigger than it already was, and there was honestly just more stage time here than there was in LA at that time, and still now, really.
Yeah. So were you? Where do I want to go? I always ask a million follow-up questions. You've thrown so much great information. I'm first curious about the culinary school because I know in scheduling this you were saying, well, I work and I can't get out until a certain time, so you're still in the restaurant business.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What is your favorite thing from culinary school?
I would just say just the general knowledge of food. I went to school for baking and pastry specifically.
Speaking my language.
Yeah, I would just say the general knowledge of food. I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
Just how it's connected to human history, how it's connected to wars, it's connected to just so many different facets of life that we overlook because it's such a part of our daily daily routine that I don't think people realize that at one point it was currency.
Yeah.
And so I find all of that fascinating personally.
Sorry. So you went to culinary school where again?
Le Cordon Bleu. It was on.
Okay. All right.
Burnett Road, way north.
Okay. All right. And when did stand-up happen for you?
I would say I first did stand-up in 2010.
Okay.
My friend had started, and it's something I had always wanted to do since I was a kid. I just never really knew how to start. So I kind of just ignored like the desire to do it for a long time. Then my friend told me he had started doing it. He went to one open mic. So then the next week I went with him at Cherrywood.
Oh, classic.
And then, I fell in love. I remember that night. And I did it here for maybe about a year, a little less. And then I ended up moving to LA for different reasons. That wasn't comedy for a little bit. And then just took a little break and came back to it out there in LA. So I would say I started here initially, but I would say I really started grinding and actually honing the craft out in Los Angeles, which is kind of contributed to, it just set the bar so high because you're walking into open mics with people that are professional writers or that have shows in development or that are just so far along in the craft of stand-up that it's really inspiring to see. Yeah. So I definitely am thankful that I essentially started there. It was rough and it's a lot because it's like you learn in like hyper time. It's just so quick because you're just like, oh, this is not funny in any way because there are so many funny people that are just at an open mic that you wouldn't really think are, you know? So it was, I would say I came up more in Los Angeles honing the craft.
For somebody who's not seen you perform, how would you describe your style? Because I can try, but I want to hear it in your words.
I would say that the laughs come in unconventional places. And I would say that it's a lot of storytelling, a lot of deadpan storytelling with unconventional laughs. Yeah.
And like slow and methodical is what I would add from what I've watched. It's not a fast-paced experience.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable in silence.
Yeah. And I'm thinking you're grinding in LA, which to me feels all about fast-paced. I think starting out in Austin when you did, that was probably not terribly unusual, maybe, or not such a contrast.
Yeah.
But then going to LA, like, how do you keep your sanity and your voice when you're surrounded by that?
You know, what's interesting about that is I wouldn't say that I found it out there. I would say I found it when I came back home.
Oh.
And maybe the last 2 years only.
Really?
I would say that you were right about it having to be fast paced. So what I realized when I was out there and working on jokes was it was just set up punchline, set up punchline, set up punchline, like classic. But when I stepped back and realized like, oh, I love stories and I'm a storyteller in just by nature. So when I stepped back to look at all these jokes, I was like, these don't mean anything to me because they're just witty or they're just funny. Like there is no voice behind these things. And so I kind of threw out most of my material and only kept a few things that I knew I could turn into something. And then I started just slowly working because during COVID there was no mics, there was nothing to do. So I really just took that time to study storytelling and figuring out how to take these little bits of things that I found funny into actual bits. And there was one point I would say right before then I was probably going to stop doing stand-up because I couldn't really figure out how to do it. I couldn't figure out how to make the jokes the way I wanted to make them. And so it was interesting when it finally clicked to me like, oh, there's no reason to go against what my natural style is. And I think it does surprise a lot of people because there are some jokes that are very long. Like in the set you saw, I think was maybe 10 minutes. I have some bits that are, they're drug out 5-6 minutes before you get to a real punchline. And so, but I prefer that. I like that. To me, that's the kind of comedy I came up watching on, like HBO had those little 30 minutes or just the GOATs. I would watch Richard Pryor just tell stories for so long. You don't even think it's a joke at some point.
Right.
So you're just like, what is this? And I like that. I find comedy that's interesting way more in depth than is just being quick. Because I feel like anyone can do that. There's a science to humor. It's not hard to figure out a setup and a punch. But when I watch comedy, I would prefer to know who the comic is after watching them. And so that's what I try to create, essentially.
You seem like a very zen individual. Do you ever kick yourself that? Because to me, what I'm hearing is once I figured out just how to just be me in the best way that I know how, things started falling into place. And if you spent 10 years not knowing that or not doing that, do you kick yourself for not realizing that sooner?
No, I don't think so. I think if I did that, it would just be almost like living in the past a little bit. It is, I would say that those years gave me a true insight of how to write a joke. And there's learning how to write and then applying my voice to that are two separate things. And I think that this is like to be a real comic and to hone the craft, you need to do both. And I think that a lot of times when I watch a comic, I'll love one aspect about him, but it is rare when I see a comic and I'm like, oh wow, this person has it all. And I think that as a fan of comedy, some people don't, that doesn't matter to some people, but for me, that's the kind of comedy that I like. When I see someone, I'm like, oh wow, this person has everything. They do physical, they can storytell, it's quick-witted, it's crowd work, it's rare. It's just like it's like anything else that's creative or a sport. When you see someone that's like a complete athlete, you're like, oh wow, this is rare to see. Even though there's other professionals that are talented, this particular person, like not everyone can do that. So I try to thrive just to hit every mark I can. And it's taken that long to even attempt to do, and I'm still so far from where I want to be, being able to interact with crowds or to be, take take the show wherever I want to in the moment. Sometimes I get stuck in my act and I miss opportunities where I know afterwards I'm like, oh man, I could have played with the crowd a little bit and had more fun if I wouldn't just have been so focused on getting through, you know?
Yeah.
So it is, I don't know, I have a lot of work to do, but I'm glad that I'm glad that I strive I strive to produce what I'm a fan of.
Yeah, that makes sense. You said you spent some time in San Antonio?
Yeah, when I was born and raised there.
Okay.
And then I came back there after COVID, yeah, for a few years.
And I know a little bit about the San Antonio scene. Were you performing it at all in San Antonio?
No, not really. I have now since I came back, but I didn't really, when I first moved, there was a few open mics, but nothing really. The scene was just kind of opening back up.
Yeah.
So even now, when I go visit, sometimes I'll hit a show or a mic, but I haven't done too much time there. I would love to because it's my hometown.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a different scene, I feel like.
Yeah.
Their comedy scene is just now starting to grow. They just opened a new club and
Yep. Good old San Antonio. So when you were growing up, you said you always wanted to be a stand-up. You just, didn't know how to make that happen. What was it about what you saw as stand-up that like kind of inspired you?
My stepdad was a huge comedy fan. So when I was a kid, every weekend would be like, okay, we're going to watch every Mel Brooks movie. And then next week would be like, we're going to watch every Cheech and Chong.
Oh, wow.
We're going to watch every Richard Pryor special. So records, shows, he was just really a huge comedy fan. And so I think I was 11 or 12 and I already knew what stand-up was and I knew that I was interested in it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you can just choose to be it. I was so young, I didn't really understand how it worked. And then I saw John Leguizamo's Freak when I think I was 11 or 12, and it blew my mind away.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wow, this is not anything I've ever seen. This is storytelling. It's dark. It was so...
Talk about the having everything.
Yeah. He was... Still to this day, I think that's the best special I've ever seen. Like that's just it for me, Yeah. And so when I saw that, I was like, wow, I don't know what this is, but I want to do that. And I feel like in a few years where I want to be, like that's the kind of special I want to do. That's more like a one-man show that still has jokes in it. Because he's just, I don't know, to me, that's like one of the greatest performers of our generation. He's just, I think, widely overlooked at this point somehow.
Yeah.
He doesn't really come up in conversations as much, I think, as he should. But that special, even being produced by Spike Lee, it's so good.
Yeah.
I watch it pretty often.
Yeah. So you saw that pretty young, and that was kind of like a peak comedy experience to watch that as a young person, but you still just didn't think it was a thing that you could...
I didn't really understand how you did it, and then I kind of just got sucked up in life, and I fell in love with cooking also. And so at that point, I didn't really think about comedy until I had settled down when I was in my early 20s. And I was like, I had started thinking about like, man, how do you start doing stand-up? And the Austin scene then was great.
Yeah.
It had tons of shows, tons of stage time. And yeah, I'm still friends with, he's out in LA now, but yeah, if he never started, I don't know if I ever would have, to be honest. Yeah. I think about that pretty often.
Yeah. I mean, the scene 2000, so you did 2010 to 2012. It's about the time. Yeah. I started like getting really into the scene in 2012. So that was like, to me, 2012 to 15, 16, that's like peak old school Austin comedy.
Yeah, I would come back and visit a lot. And I had friends some of my friends already did stand up also, aside from my friend that started doing open mics. We knew each other outside of comedy interests. So I didn't really, I was almost embarrassed to ask them how to start. You know what I mean? And so I just did it. And yeah, I think about every time I would come visit and just see how the scene was like really tight knit.
Yeah, it was.
It's nice to see. And a lot of those people are still, friends with each other. So it's cool to see.
Yeah. I mean, there's a whole pre versus post pandemic scene. And,
for sure. Definitely.
It was because I consider myself the observer, the objective observer, although I don't think I'm all that objective. There was, it's always fun to hear, the person on the other side of the table saying, oh, well, yeah, those people were all assholes, or, they're all nice. They've given me a job at the mothership. They've, helped me advance my career. So it's just like, it is just what it is.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not bad. It's just, this is what a growing comedy scene is like, which you saw firsthand in LA. I mean,
oh yeah.
Massive comedy scene. Not everybody gets along.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. People start separate shows on the same day, the same time. You know what I mean? It's just competition at the end of the day. I wish it definitely sometimes feels like an undertone of tension sometimes. Yeah. And that's unfortunate because at the end of the day, man, our job is to make people laugh. Right. And a lot of that is just ego and pride, combining. And it is weird to see sometimes. Like I just want to tell jokes. I don't really care where I tell them at. That's my goal. Yeah. I don't really know what everyone else's goal is.
Yeah. So given how massive LA is, like, did you ever reach like a maximum number of shows in a given day?
Yeah, I think one time we planned this, but I think one time me and my friend did like 7 or 8 mics in a night. It was not fun at all. Not like, there was no glory or anything to it. It was just a lot of driving, a lot of frustration. And at the end of the night, it's like 1 a.m. and we're telling jokes to 3 homeless people in wheelchairs. And you're just like, what do we do? But we did it, Yeah. But yeah, I would say like 3 or 4 was pretty common and easy to do at that time in LA. It was a lot of them were either on the same town, in the same part of town, 10, 15 minutes from each other, or some on the same street. So it was not hard to spend 3 or 4 hours, but you're doing 3 or 4 mics.
Yeah.
So that was also, I think, what helped grow a lot is that I could have an idea that morning, work it out multiple times that day. So by the end of my night, I'm listening to all these things and hearing it get better. So by a week or 2, you're like, okay, I could actually use this. And I think that's just at that point. I don't know if there's this now. It's kind of like that here. You can hit a few in a night, but it's definitely not. I think that at that time it was I don't think it got better than that. There was so much stage time everywhere, all kinds of places, grocery stores, coffee shops, like they were just everywhere had a mic, so it was, some of them were brutal, but if you're just trying to get up there and get it out, it was definitely a great time.
Did you ever feel like you were starting to finally build momentum after, I guess you technically would have had your almost 10-year anniversary of comedy in LA?
Yeah, I would say right around 10 is when I started, like, I think what's really interesting is when I was living in LA and I would have shows in LA, the jokes wouldn't really do well. And then I would come home and do a show, or I would go to another city for vacation or to visit friends. I would do a show and they would do good. And so it was so confusing because, well, then I realized, like, okay, well, a lot of these open mics are comics, so they're hard to make laugh.
Sure.
And I wasn't really getting booked in LA because I was still so young, and there's so many comics out there that are working. And so, it wasn't until I left that I felt like, oh, these jokes do work. I just needed to also find, like, my audience.
Yeah.
And I would say it was when I left, but right around 10, because I left pretty much then.
Yeah. Were you getting into the culinary scene in LA at the same time?
Yeah, no, I actually did I did some cooking, but I worked a lot in the cannabis industry. And when I was out there, it was just a good industry to work out in California. Yeah. But I would cook, I would get bored, cook for a little bit, then get burnt, cook, go back. So bounce back and forth. But I've always cooked, and I'd always do pop-ups and cook for friends, large events or holidays and stuff like that. Especially out there, a lot of us would, or from other places, so we would not go home and just stay there and have like a friend's Thanksgiving or a friend's Christmas.
Nice, nice. Okay, I don't know if your look. Can we talk about your look?
Yeah, you talk about whatever you want. It's your podcast.
Your tattoo collection is quite impressive. And it's funny because I podcast last week with a comic who also is just covered in tattoos. So we had a conversation about tattoos. When did your love of tattoos start?
Man, honestly, as long as I can remember.
Really?
Yeah, I think I've always been obsessed with how interesting they look.
Yeah.
Just seeing them around in movies and TVs. And, the early 90s, there was an explosion of tattoos. So they were everywhere. It was almost like it was such a part of pop culture and movies and commercials and music videos. It was like, it was just exploding. So, and my stepdad had a lot also, and so did my uncles. And so it was just always around.
Yeah.
And then my mom worked at Office Depot when I was a kid. She would always bring home art supplies because I was always really interested in art. And so I watched a movie once and learned that you can give yourself a tattoo with Indian ink. So I got some from my mom, and I was 10. Whoa. And I tattooed myself. And then after that, it was like all downhill. Oh.
And you didn't cover up that one from
no, I still have
10?
It.
Wow, wow.
Yeah. It's pretty good for being 10.
Yeah, I bet.
For being 10 and upside down, I think it's pretty good.
Oh. Wow. And I mean, having for anybody who hasn't looked at the cover art for, this episode, you're clean shaven, but you have tattoos on your skull, which I imagine has got to hurt
just
to get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was painful. Definitely.
Yeah. And how long ago did you commit to those?
2018.
Okay.
Or no, 2020, I think is when I got my first head tattoo, 2020.
Yeah.
And then slowly started doing it after that.
Oh my God. Sober. Do you get these?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh man. Oh,
I've never used like the numbing.
Yeah. Wow. Do you ever? You tour, I assume. Do you ever go into a venue and because of your more slow and methodical way of telling stories, do you sense the audience tensing up?
No, I don't ever feel them getting tense. I think one thing that helped me really develop my voice or be comfortable with it is one day I realized, or I watched the interview with Fluffy, and he said that there's nothing wrong with silence, that silence means people are paying attention because he's a big storyteller. Yeah. And I found it really interesting because I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of his comedy, but I do respect what he's done for comedy.
Yeah.
And so when he said that, something just clicked in my head. I was like, wow, that is so true. And I started paying way more attention when I was watching people's during my set, because I started realizing they're becoming ultra silent, which is not bad, because if people wanted to heckle or if I was bombing, people would be talking.
Yeah. Or
they would be interrupting the show. And once I got that in my mind, it just completely changed my perspective of it. Because then I realized oh yeah, that's just them paying attention, which means that the punchline will hit harder.
Yeah.
If they actually are paying attention. So it doesn't, I don't ever feel them getting tense, but I could feel the shift when they start paying attention. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that was my feeling when I saw you, because that was the first time I'd ever seen you, is at that Sure Thing show, and I'm watching and I'm just riveted by you're telling this story, and I'm along for the ride, and then the punchlines come, and it's great.
I appreciate that.
And then I watched your special, and I said, oh, okay, so this was just like a bigger setting, and it's also a longer set than what I got to see at Sure Thing. It's a really well done special.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
To you for getting that done.
I appreciate it.
I think one funny thing from watching the special, like it's very well produced, but there's hardly any credits, and I don't even think you're technically credited. And it's like, all right, people, just read between it. Who did you just watch? You watched Fast Ronald. He's delivering his stand-up. Of course it was written and performed by him. It's just very, so, it's very simple. Mm-hmm. All the packaging, so that the focus can be on you and your jokes, and it's a really well done special.
My manager's gonna love that you said that.
Yeah.
He put it. My manager is great at executing his vision of what my image is, and not even altering it in any way, just honing in on who I already am. Yeah. And so that was the exact purpose of the special, was to be simple, because at the end of the day, it's just me on stage telling stories. There's very few credits because I'm blessed enough to just have everything in-house, like my manager, his best friend. They're multi-talented, so they record, they edit, they do sound. There is a very small team, but that's why there are few credits, because we keep everything in-house, and we all uphold the same standard of the quality of work that we're trying to put out. Yeah. And even down to the social media of, we don't really follow whatever trends are going on, posting, like, right now the big thing is like the slides of your jokes and words. Like, we're not doing anything like that. It's just, there's no need to follow a trend. We're just trying to be funny at the end of the day, and trying to keep it simple. There's no reason to cloud up. Right. I'm not trying to do a million things. I'm just trying to be a comic. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job.
I appreciate it.
All right, let's do this little intermission that I have. So this card game, Where Should We Begin? So world famous psychiatrist Esther Perel. And I've got two cards, didn't look at them in advance, and you're going to point to one, and that one I will read to you after you read the other one to me to answer. So point to one of these two cards. All right, I'll read that one to you after you read that one to me, and we'll see where the conversation goes.
This is the point of the interview where you learn I can't read.
Oh.
I hope my kids never find out about the time I.
Oh. Gosh. Well, luckily I only have one kid. So, wow, that's a stumper. I'm kind of an open book with my kid. So he even knows, he may not know about the time I got busted when I was in high school. So that was a long, long, long time before him. And I didn't have to do any, jail time. He was just, dumb high school kid stuff. Yeah. But, and he doesn't listen to this podcast, so he's still not going to know.
That's funny. But, are you from Austin?
I'm not. I was born in Belgium, but I was raised in Burleson, which is south of Fort Worth.
Oh, cool.
So, I've been in Austin for it's getting close to 20 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I went to school here in the early 90s, a long time ago, and then came back.
Nice.
So, yeah. Yeah. All right, Fast Ronald, yours is, okay, I need to let go of ...
Can I answer this question in the past a week ago?
Oh, of course.
Okay. My rat tail And then that's the
that's
answer.
so huge.
Yeah.
That's so huge. That had to be 15 years?
18.
Yeah, I was showing my boyfriend, and he's like, what?
It was crazy. It was, I loved it, and it was a big part of my identity for a long time, but it was starting to become uncomfortable and affecting like my ability to sleep. And I started noticing even on stage, like just my ability to perform and move around comfortably was just inhibited because I was always worrying about it. Like, you know, in some jokes I needed it to be out of the way, and it was just becoming too much. And it felt really good. I thought I was going to be sad or have some kind of emotional reaction, but it really just felt freeing.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited. Yeah.
And you chose full removal as opposed to, I'll just trim it back.
Yeah, I didn't. I was just tired of it. I can't really put my head back, and there's just so many things I can't do. It's a lot of maintenance that I just was tired of doing 18 years of, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, when I was in my 20s, I used to have really long hair, like down to my butt. And when I realized what an annoyance it was every single day, I finally, got smart and just got rid of it.
Yeah, it's so heavy. It was even the one was heavy. Yeah. So I was tired of it. It felt so good to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do it for about a year. And then
what was the...
I just didn't, the night before, didn't sleep very well because it would get stuck like on the side. So when I rolled over, it would pull my neck and I would wake up. I would actually wake up. And so the night before, I just didn't really get a lot of sleep, and I was just frustrated. And I was like, "Man,
I'm done with
today."
you.
Yeah, I was like, "Today's the day. I'm good. I'm not."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Have you gotten similar responses? I mean, I'm sure.
Yeah, I didn't tell anybody before I saw people. So everyone at my job freaked out. My mom freaked out, and everyone says that they understand. Especially, I mean, it was down past my knees. You know, it was like past my kneecap. So it was. 3 feet, over 3 feet long.
Did you donate it or did you do anything with it?
I kept it for a few days and then I was like, why am I keeping this? And then I just threw it away.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I thought in my mind, I was like, oh, in a few years, I'm going to look back when I'm older. I was like, this is gross.
Crazy. Yeah.
Gross and crazy. So I just threw it away.
It's like the rings on a tree.
Yeah.
Like looking back.
I do like keeping sentimental things, but that definitely did not need to keep it. I thought it would defeat the purpose of getting rid of it. You know what I mean? Then why am I keeping it?
Yeah, right. Well, congratulations on that big move. I was wow. I was very, very shocked myself when I saw that.
Yeah, a lot of my friends hit me up. They was like, is this real? I'm like, yeah.
Are you going to regrow?
No, I'm good. Yeah. I'm pretty good.
Okay. All right. Well, as we head into the second half of our conversation, so you mentioned earlier that about 2 years ago you kind of realized the best way for you to perform. Do you think that that's partly to explain why you're now getting the attention of Moontower Comedy Festival and I don't know who else has been paying attention to you?
Yeah, I think just being more comfortable with my material and knowing how to perform it.
Yeah.
I think some of the jokes I've had for years, but never knew how to perform them. And they weren't, it was still missing something. And even still, like every time I perform, I feel like, okay, this needs this small nuance here or a small nuance there. All those little things matter to me. When I watch comedy specials, I notice all those little facial features or just very tiny nuances that comedians do to make something more dramatic or funnier. I think especially in modern comedy, because it's rushed so much that some people's specials are missing that. They're missing those little nuances, or it's like, man, this joke could be so. Even my own, when I rewatch my own special, I'm like, man, I wish I would have had just a touch more time or paid attention to this a little more, because I perform those jokes now that I've hit the road more so much different than on the special. They're better now. And so, yeah, I definitely would say once I learned how to perform, things started.
So you're not the type of performer that says, "Oh, I have a special. I can retire this stuff." You're still working.
Oh
on
yeah,
even those.
I think I'm very trying to think of the word to use. I think I just live in reality. If you like, there's not tons of views. It's a couple like 10 or 11,000. And even then before that, really performing to just mainly open mics or the same few shows that are small. So if you really look at the bigger picture, no one's seen my material really. And I think sometimes people get in their head of like, oh, I got this out, it's done. And it's like, is it, bro? Like no one's really seen it. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of, you work so hard on this just to like, so now this really depends on how long my sets are. I'll do some old stuff, some new stuff. Some of my old, I feel like a lot of the way I write, I leave things open. So even in the new material I'm working on for my new special, a lot of it ties back to the old like characters and things. So it's almost like it's almost just like keeps getting like a bigger picture and a bigger story. So I don't do all my old material still, but I will still do some.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Do you, you said when you write, do you do the pen to paper kind of writing?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And
definitely.
Do you find that as you're writing things out that you're like, oh, this spot would be really great for just kind of, let's do a slow walk across the stage. Do you get down to that specifics?
Not until the joke is done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't, for me, first and foremost, it's just about the formality of the joke first. So once I get that down, I'll perform it even a few times before I even think about the actual movements of it. I just mainly want to make sure it's funny first, funny enough to keep.
Start with the fundamentals of it's got to be a joke.
Yeah.
And then build from there.
I think that basic thought is lost a lot nowadays, but it has to be funny.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Where was the special recorded?
At the Parish, or what was the Parish at that time?
All right.
I think it's
the big black curtains.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is now.
I think it's something different, possibly, but
yeah. I don't know, because Moontower used to do shows there, but I don't know if they've done shows there in the last year or so.
No, I don't think at the last one. I don't think they did. Yeah. The year before that, they did for sure. They did a couple shows. They did a couple of the bigger shows there.
Yeah,
the sound is really good, even though it's not a room for comedy. Mm-hmm. So sometimes like you don't really hear the laughs necessarily because the ceilings are so high, but the sound is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, and it's a beautiful venue. I like inside is really nice. It's an interesting look.
Yeah. How long did it take for you to feel like you were ready for recording that set?
I had all the material for it. For all the main bits, I would say a year before we recorded.
Wow.
And then I spent 6 months practicing and then writing in all the little segues and filling in all the little like details it needed to be to tell the whole story. Yeah. And then after that, I was lucky enough to perform a few longer sets and get some practice in.
Yeah.
And then record it. So I would say about a year from deciding like, okay, let's actually do this to recording it.
So I must have been living under a rock to not have seen you perform until that Sure Thing show. Where do you typically perform, or do you tour?
Honestly, I don't get booked in Austin. I can't really explain why. I've tried. I think Sure Thing booked me when they were here. The Buzzkill at the Buzzmill books me pretty frequently. I love them.
Yeah, Angelina's the best.
Yeah, I love her. She's great. There's a few smaller places, but I don't really get booked here. It's hard. Yeah, it is weird. I've tried. I don't really know why. So most of the time when I when I am able to hit the road, that's me like actually working on material that's not just open mics, because it's hard for me to get stage time here. Like, and 1 or 2 shows a month is really not enough to work on something. So yeah, hopefully it changes after Moontower.
I think it's going to change after Moontower. Where are some of your favorite places to perform? And, or, I guess a offshoot question is, where do you find yourself performing where you learn the most?
I would say Chicago and LA is where I've learned the most so far.
Yeah.
I think the crowds in LA are just so hard to make laugh sometimes that it's you could really feel when you crack them.
Yeah.
And then also, I did a trip to the Dakotas last year, and that also really made me realize that if you can bring someone to your world, it doesn't matter how far you are from it, you can still make people laugh.
Yeah.
So that was also really inspiring, realizing like, oh wow, this is the complete opposite of what my crowd or my fans or like my demographic is like, and this is like I'm so able to make people laugh. So that was also a huge eye opener of like, oh yeah, this is good. Yeah. I feel like I'm doing the right thing.
Do you like touring? Some people.
I just like performing. Sometimes it could be rough and tiring, but it is fun. It's fun going to a new place and seeing what's going to make people laugh and seeing. I don't know. I just love performing. I love making people laugh. So it's really interesting to see who decides to go out and just try to escape that night. I think is really interesting all over seeing people do it.
I assume you've known about Moontower Comedy Festival for years. How did it feel when you got the word?
Yeah, surreal. Yeah. I think I had just did The Funniest Person, and I thought I was like, okay, man, I think this is pretty good. I think I have a good chance of going to the next round. And I didn't. And it was like, I was kind of bummed, like just naturally.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks after that, Colleen messaged me on Instagram and was like, hey, I saw your recording of The Funniest Person, and can you call me? And I was like, oh wow, what is this? This is so interesting. I already knew who she was.
Yeah. So
when she was like, hey, I don't know what happened, but I think, I would love to have you on Moontower. And I was like blown away. I was like driving to work, and I was like, oh, this is crazy. So yeah, I was so excited.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's totally crazy.
Yeah, it was so unexpected because I almost didn't do the contest either. Like I had the night that I had to compete, it was like my Friday and I was beat. I just had a crazy week at work.
Yeah.
And I only had time to go home, shower, and then leave. And I was laying there thinking, man, I just don't go. Like, I don't care. And I also completely forgot you were supposed to invite people for the first round. And so I made it through the first round with bringing 0 people, which means that the crowd just voted. So that was really, and it kind of inspired me for the second round. So I'm glad the whole thing was kind of like felt surreal because I just, when she called me and told me that, I just thought about that moment of like, man, I left at the last minute that I could before they wouldn't have let me in the doors at Cap City. So I got there and they literally told me, like, man, you just made it in. Like, so yeah, I think about that. It felt good.
Yeah. That's a great story. There's a story, Sawyer Stoll, which I'm sure you've run into him. I don't know if you've heard about his story. It's almost very similar. Like, he performed at FPIA, and I don't remember if he advanced, but I know that the first time he performed, like at the time, the manager of Cap City like chased him down in the parking lot because she was so excited about he came out of nowhere, kind of thing. And if you're not getting booked in Austin, it's kind of like the same thing for you. It's like you've come out of nowhere, but you got somebody's attention that's really important, and who has she's really good at, picking out stars.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
We had a really good conversation, and I'm really looking forward to Moontower. It's all I've been preparing for. I've been trying to knock out as many shows as I can.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that week.
Yeah, and there's a handful of you that it's your first time, so you've kind of got your class of other students and first timers. So it'll be cool to kind of go through that.
Yeah, definitely.
Experience.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm also just excited as a fan of comedy to see the festival, up close. I never got to go because I've always either been working or just clashing schedules. But yeah, I'm super excited.
Yeah, yeah. What are some of the shows that you're booked on? I assume the Texans. You'll be on that.
I'm actually not too sure yet.
Okay.
I know I'm doing the industry show.
Okay.
Nice. Which is on Friday. But that's the only one that I know for sure. I know I'm performing every night. I just haven't found out which yet.
Yeah.
Just that one. So I'm kind of just focusing on that time set because it's important for me.
Yeah, for sure. Sure, your manager's like, you got to do good on this one.
If it's one, for sure.
Yeah.
But no, I am super excited about the festival.
Yeah. Is there somebody, well, if you haven't looked at the schedule, have you looked at some of the performers? And is there somebody that you're kind of like, oh, I can't wait to see them?
Yeah, this is so funny because I feel like a lot of it is just like comics that I loved when I was a kid, like Yakov Smirnoff. I'm so excited. I'm like, what? This is
Everybody's
crazy.
Excited about
I'm like, what? Man, if he did all the material from the 90s, I would not even care. I would just be like, this is fantastic. I'm really excited to see the Sklar brothers. I loved them so much when I was younger. I thought they were that was one of the, you remember that one radio station that was just stand up for a few years?
Here in Austin? Yeah.
So I remember not knowing who the Sklar brothers were and then hearing them on that one day and then just being like, wow, this is so interesting. And just like, even I remember finding it interesting and funny. And then the deeper I got into stand up and realizing how much it takes to perform, and then revisiting them and being like, man, this is crazy that they're this intact with each other.
They're crazy to watch.
Yeah. And so I'm so excited to see them live. Like, I think that just from a performer standpoint, like they're so good. Yeah. I'm very excited about seeing them. I want to see Renee Vaca. I've never seen him. He seems like, that seems fun. Marin, I want to see really bad. I think it would be just interesting and fun. Like, he's so funny, and like I love just his style. Is so funny to me. I've always been a big fan, so that would be fun. And then some of my friend Vince is coming from LA, so I'm excited to see him and like a different scene and different city, because I met him out there. You know, he's I think that was the first mic I ever went to, was one that he ran.
Oh, wow.
So if I had to say something almost like how you mentioned, like a class for Moontower, if I had to say there was like a class for that scene, like we were definitely in the same one. And so it's fun. It's really cool to see, like, you know, years later, like we're on the same festival for our first time the same year. So I'm really excited about that also, just on a non, like, headliner set, you know, just my friend coming down. It's really cool.
Oh, that's fun. That's fun. Is this your first festival?
I did the Oakland Comedy Fest last year in the fall. Okay. It was in October.
Yeah.
That was my first festival. Yeah. It was fun. Yeah. It was really, really, really fun. It was in breweries and like larger bars with tap rooms, but they were great crowds, very fun. Yeah. Yeah. Had a good time.
Yeah. They, I don't know if this has made its way to your ear holes, but the way that Moontower is often described from the comics perspective is it's like summer camp. Yeah. Like Moontower just does such a great job of making it fun for the comics. So, and then, you know, with all the club shows, it's great for the audience too, because they can actually interact with the comics, so it's fun, and not in that, you know, heckle crowd work way. It's just like, you know, you're running into each other all the time. So yeah, I'm really excited. I'm already letting my job know, like, I'm gonna take some days off during these days, and I work right there on E6 too, so I'm looking forward to taking some comic friends by, and I'm super excited. Yeah. Awesome. Anything else that you want people to know about you before we start wrapping up?
No. Just, if you can check out the special, Flex Your Head. And
so good.
if you think it's funny, you follow me on Instagram. That's about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Come to a show.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's wrap up with my closing question.
Okay.
It is one word to describe your future.
Unknown.
Accurate. Okay. Well, that is a wrap on Comedy Wham Presents Fast Ronald. Fast Ronald, tell us where we can find you on social media and plug that YouTube special again.
You can find me at It's Fast Ronald on all social media. It's the same. It's Fast Ronald. And then you can find the special on YouTube, Flex Your Head. Just type in Fast Ronald, Flex Your Head. And it'll be there.
No, it's well worth the watch.
I appreciate
it's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't always gush, but
I really
this
appreciate
one's
that.
really solid.
It really means a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I have to ask, okay, so you went, I'm messing up my closing here, but that's okay because I have to know this. So you specialize in baked goods and pastries.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite all-time pastry or baked good to make?
Pie.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any particular kind or just any?
I would say any fruit pie or just any. I really love a good pot pie of any kind.
Oh, okay.
Does not matter what kind.
So it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be
traditional,
savory.
Okay. All right. Good to know. And then follow-up question. Did you make those cookies?
Oh yeah, definitely. Wow. So that was the first time I'm trying this. I'm trying to figure out ways to introduce different parts of my character into my act. So I want to start giving out cookies at every show. And so that was the first time I was like, okay, could this actually work in a setting of a comedy show? And then I spent 5 days out in Irving. They opened a Punchline out there.
Okay. So
I did 5 days there, and I did the same thing, and it worked. So
it's a lot of cookies, dude.
It is a lot of cookies.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, I feel like it'll pay off when the special and all the material for the new special is essentially about cooking and about like being a chef. So I think it'll play well into all the new material.
The thing that I enjoyed about that, not just the cookie itself, which was very good.
Thank you.
is the communal aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're bringing us a gift, even though the gift for us already is the fact that you're performing and making us laugh. But you're also, I don't know, and this is, given how much detail you spend on the writing and the movement, is like you didn't micromanage the thing. You let the community of the audience just figure out the passing of the tray.
Oh yeah.
And I thought that's how you build that communal experience.
Definitely,
so,
1000%. I definitely think about all of that. Also down to the detail of like the thing you associate the most with memory is smell and taste. Mm-hmm. And so if you're creating an escapism for someone on 2 levels, then it's almost going to be one of those things you're not going to forget. Even if you didn't find the comedy interesting or funny, you're going to be like, oh, wow, this person gave me cookies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're still going to remember it. So I definitely put a lot of thought into all of that.
Yeah. Well, kudos. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, now back. Okay. We hope you've enjoyed learning about how Fast Ronald got to be the comedic genius that you heard today, just as much as I have. This has been Comedy Wham Presents Fast Ronald. I'm Valerie, and that's been funny. Thank you, Fast Ronald.
Thank you.